Hey guys, how's it going? So we've been putting out those videos on our small unit tactics and our small team tactics. So Ken and I were talking, we figured we might as well also touch on basic tactical formation so we can kind of get a better view of all that stuff together. So talking about formations here, we're going to talk basically the platoon level or smaller because of the nature of warfare today and the things that, obviously in America we've experienced. So platoon level about 40 dudes or smaller. Now most of these will apply to larger units in some way, but we're talking small units here. So first thing we need to know when it comes to our formations is formations are modifiable at every level, and as they delineate, they can be changed. And what I mean by that is, for example, if I have a platoon of 3 squads and I call for online, so I want 1, 2, and 3 online, I can be in platoon online and be in a different formation at the squad level and still be in the proper formation, meaning my squad can be online, but it can be in wedge, or it can be in V or echelon or staggered column, ranger file, something like that, but still be online. Same thing, I can be in squad online and fire team, staggered column, echelon, something like that. So know that it delineates as we go down on our levels. Okay, so I wrote down 4 of the most basic needs that we need out of choosing a formation. So 1, we need to use the terrain. So formations change based on the mission and the terrain. Really restrictive terrain or really open terrain changes what we need out of that. Then here we got Cnc, Command and Control. No matter what formation or what environment or what country we are fighting in, we've got to have the ability to command and control our elements, whether that's visual, verbal, through electronic communication, or pyro, such as smoke, loom rounds, lights, and things like that. We've got to have command and control. And then dispersion and concentration are kind of combined here. So we want to always have as much dispersion as we can use and still get our concentration. What I mean by that is what we cannot have is everybody's so tightly packed that one IED, one machine gun burst, one auto burst, one grenade, one mortar round, something like that hits and takes out the whole group of them. We've got to have dispersion, that way we don't lose everybody to one attack. And then with that, the concentration, meaning while we want that good dispersion and it's terrain dependent and mission dependent, we have to be able to consolidate to get our force together to be able to overwhelm the enemy at the actual point of contention, the point of attack, meaning that we don't want to attack 4 dudes with our 4 dudes by all being, one-on-one. We want to try to get to a position where we can consolidate and overwhelm them as an element, maybe 1 or 2 at a time. Okay, so that's the basics of our formation needs. So now, kind of last thing I want to talk about with the basics of that is, now usually when you read the textbooks or the manuals or when you watch the movies, call-out formations usually go something like this. Squad, echelon, by teams, dispersion, 5 meters, ready, execute. And it sounds really fucking dumb, and nobody actually talks that way. If you were in my squad, second deployment, here's how that call would go. Hey, Thompson, as we move into Palm Groves, why don't you go ahead and punch Team Retard up. Kelly and Flaherty, go ahead and hold back a little bit. Let's echelon to the left here. Thompson, make sure you got your dude arrayed on the river there. Flaherty closer to the road. Once we get up to that road up there that bisects, go ahead and go firm. Thompson, we'll get online and see what's going on. Nice and simple, not complicated, not stupid, nothing weird like that. Okay, so now that we got the basics out of the way, we'll talk about just a couple of our most foundational formations real quick. So the first one that we've got is going to be probably the most widely used of all our formations. So we're talking about our staggered column, we talk about our tactical column. Okay, so especially in an urban environment at the fire team level, this is used a lot because urban environments are very restrictive. You just don't have a lot of space to move, and the smaller that your element is, the less formations you can get. If you're out there and you're 2 dudes, you can't get in frickin' wedge formation. It all looks the same. Okay, so what the tactical column gives us is very easy command and control. All right, so while I could have the distance between number 1 and 3 here be 30, 40, 50 meters, that means that this guy's only 20 to 30 meters away from this guy, so they can see and communicate very easily while still keeping a pretty large amount of dispersion. All right, and the other thing, this will allow us to address issues on both of our flanks very quickly, and half of our element is able to engage either to the front or to the rear. Now obviously if we take contact in the front, these 2 guys in the rear can't engage there until they get up and online or into a different formation because they got the 2 guys in front of them. So very easy to control, very good in restrictive terrain, but very basic and not very good in open terrain because we can spread out and use that better. Okay, so our next formation is what we call online. Online, exactly what it sounds like. So we got all of our elements online. So this, as you can very well tell, is very good at orienting all of our fire either front or rear. So this is very good when you're sweeping through terrain such as fields or palm groves and stuff like that. If you can have flank support or if the flank is covered up by terrain and we can sweep through, very useful for that. Very easy to keep command and control. Everybody just stays even with the dude that's either on their right or left. But does not have the very good ability at all to address the flanks, because obviously only the element in the front or the rear is able to do that without being, providing friendly fire on their own guys. So know that very good for the front and the rear, not good for the flank on that. Okay, and kind of piggybacking on that, if we take that and we just reverse that formation, we get what's called Ranger file. The Ranger file is exactly the opposite of that. So what we get here is very easy command and control of our elements when we're going straight ahead. Very easy for restrictive terrain such as urban environments or being out in the mountains and stuff like that, but also good for things if we're moving through a minefield that's being cleared. We want to stay behind the dude that's clearing it, so we Ranger file up. That way nobody steps out into uncleared area. Really easy for command and control. Can respond to the flanks well, but not very well at all to the front or to the rear when it comes to that. So again, keep paying attention. We'll put out a lot of these videos, and hit us up with some feedback. Let us know what you guys think. Remember, only the hits count, and you can never miss fast enough to catch back up.